First of all, it's been quite a 24 hours for buses in New Haven. Last night we were actually talking about bus rapid transit at a community meeting, and that'll be a significant change for our city. It's a long-term project that we're looking at 2030 when it'll be done, but it'll facilitate a lot more bus rapid transit in the city. People being much more able to get quickly from point A to point B in the city because of this bus rapid transit program. And today we're talking about school bus safety. And I think we all, as members of the community, as parents, really know why this is so important. Every day, my wife and I go out to our bus stop and put our kids, our young kids on the bus to go to school. And all too often we see people that fly through the bus stop sign when it goes out. And that is so dangerous, in particular for young elementary school kids that don't have necessarily the kind of awareness that a lot of us do when we're in the street, when we're crossing traffic and such. And so today is about underscoring safety and ensuring that we have accountability when people do not follow the rules. We have 17,000 students, over 17,000 students each day that are transported by 330 buses that are part of the New Haven public school system. And we want to make sure all of our kids have a safe experience. And we're making that commitment today to our kids. So with this program, thanks to the support of so many people, the hard work of transportation, traffic, and parking, we're going to hear from Sandeep. Haley as well has been working on this program from my office, thanks to the state legislators who passed enabling legislation that allowed municipalities to do this. Thanks to Bus Patrol, and of course thanks to the New Haven public school system and First Student who made this happen. We are now going to have on school buses technology that ensures that when people do drive through those bus stop signs when they're out, they will receive a ticket. Every one of our school buses is being outfitted with these automated monitors and enforcement cameras to detect and capture images and violations and give $250 fines. And we don't want to fine people, but we will if you go through buses and put our kids at risk. Tomorrow, Friday the 30th, begins a 30-day warning period. And so what that means is that for the buses that already have the cameras installed, if a driver goes through the stop sign, you will receive a warning notice. And for 30 days, you get just a warning. But after those 30 days, on March 2nd, Monday, March 2nd, $250 fines begin. So, this is a warning to folks that are driving through New Haven. Obey the law. Don't drive through the bus stop signs because you will be fined if you do not obey the law. We want to be really clear about that. This is about keeping our kids safe. Currently, we are moving fast at installing the cameras on all of our buses. We have about 40% of our buses outfitted with cameras. And of course, by the time the warning period ends, all the buses will be outfitted with the cameras. The law is very clear. When a school bus flashes its red lights and extends the stop arm, other drivers cannot and should not pass the bus. And that means going in both directions, right? And period. There's no argument around that. Vehicles must remain stopped until the bus no longer displays its red lights and pulls in that stop sign. And vehicles must stop so that they are at least 10 feet from either the front or the rear of the bus. To be clear, the goal isn't to encourage safe driving. It is not to fine people. We do not want to fine people. We want people to abide by the law. And generally what we have heard happens in other municipalities is typically in the beginning, there's a lot of people that get tickets and a lot of people that get fines. And then pretty quickly people realize that they're going to get caught if they disobey the law. And then we see those numbers go down pretty significantly. And that is our goal and that's our hope for the program. This is the latest in a lot of different initiatives that we're implementing as a city to make sure that we have a safe travel experience. And that's everything from the pedestrian and cycling infrastructure that we're installing to speed humps and raised intersections and raised crosswalks throughout the city, to a lot of the work that we're doing on increased enforcement. Red light cameras are in the pipeline to be installed in the future. and we've increased our police enforcement and the number of tickets that we give out to dangerous driving, among a host of other things. So, so this is just one of many things that we're doing. Thanks to state lawmakers, we're going to hear from Representative Palillo very shortly. Thank you for, Representative Palillo has a particular focus on public safety, and we're grateful for the work that he did. Thanks to the Board of Alders for helping support this initiative. Sandeep Isola from Transportation, Traffic, and Parking, and your team for everything that you've done to make this happen, and all of your service to the city. Thank you, Sandeep. And of course, I want to give a shout out to Eric Hoffman as well. And I've mentioned all the other folks, so without further ado, I'm going to hand it over first to Sandeep, and then Dr. Negron to share some words. Sandeep.
Thank you, Mayor. So I didn't have any written remarks here, but one of the things I just wanted to sort of emphasize around safety is really I just wanted to thank all the leadership here at the state delegation. The mayor's a big proponent of safety, and under his leadership we've done a lot of stuff around to improve safety, traffic safety. But one thing I just wanted to kind of bring it back to what Mayor earlier said. This is just one piece of the toolkit as part of improving safety citywide that includes not just like, school bus cameras, but you have automated traffic enforcement and, focusing on automated, active transportation. But other thing I just wanted to talk about, for example, there's a speed camera about just on Route 80 that will be coming up in, hopefully late summer. So the one thing I just wanted to talk about is just reflecting on this thing is, our primary focus with Safe Routes for All that we passed in 2022 with the Board of Alders support and Mayor's sort of leadership on this thing is focus on the most vulnerable users, which is on the road, which is pedestrians, bicyclists, right, and transit users. But within that subset, there's actually another small group of people that we all forget that are also part of the safety sort of ecosystem. And one of those is like school children, right? I mean, those are the most vulnerable at the bottom of the chain, but also people who are have disabilities, right? So again, this is one of those programs as part of all the initiatives citywide to improve safety, especially for vulnerable users, but within that, improving safety, thinking about children and people with disabilities. So, but I just want to thank everyone all the way from state delegation to the mayor's office, and just a huge shout out to Eric Hoffman, our deputy director of parking. He's taken a lead role in sort of getting this through the Board of Alders pipeline and getting the approvals. So he knows more about this than anyone in the city. And, shout out to Haley, who's going to be sort of like moving this thing through the implementation phase all through summer. And then we have Carla, who's our school crossing guard supervisor. She works very hard with all our school crossing guards to make sure the needs of the community are fulfilled, especially with school crossing guards at every place. And I think she will be she'll play a big role in actually on the implementation side, especially when we administer the program. So we'll expect a lot of calls, adjudication of these tickets. So she'll play a big role, and all our administrative staff across TTMP. So yeah, I'm really happy that we are at the point where we are at, and real thank you to everyone who's worked on this thing.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Also, on behalf of the New Haven Public Schools, we want to thank everyone that has been behind the school bus safety program. Safety is our #1 priority, and we also know that the safety of our children is also the responsibility of the community. So I'm very excited to see how this program just highlights the way that New Haven comes together to ensure that we are standing by our kids and ensuring their safety. So we are looking forward to the full implementation. It'll be just another way that we can ensure that our kids make it into our schools safely, and they also make it back home safely. So again, I cannot thank enough all the players that are making this possible for us. Thank you. And I'm turning it over to Michael McDaniel.
Good morning, everyone. Just want to simply say on behalf of First Student, we're excited to partner with the city, the mayor's office, to enact this program. One of the things that most people don't understand is that the school bus driving is a difficult job in and of itself, day in, day out. Getting the children to and from school safely is our priority. And what we are excited about is that we have one more layer of protection to make sure that the children are getting on the bus safely, getting off the bus, and crossing in front of that bus safely. And this takes one more thing out of their hands to have to focus in on, because that camera will catch that car. And like I said, our goal is not to, penalize people. Our goal is to make sure that those children are safe, because you've entrusted the children to us. We want to get them to school safely, but we also want to get them back home safely. So we are really excited that this program is underway. Can't wait for it to start, and look for good things to happen as we move forward from this. Thank you, Mayor.
Well, thank you very much, Mayor. My name is Ryan McNow. I'm Executive Vice President for Bus Patrol. We're honored to have the responsibility to be serving as a vendor for the City of New Haven for this very important program. Bus Patrol is no stranger to Connecticut. We actually operate in various jurisdictions across the state, including Bridgeport, Shelton, Danbury. We're also launching programs in the coming months in North Haven, Stratford, among others. In Bridgeport, for example, I just wanted to give some quick highlights in regards to the efficacy of the program there and the success that we've seen so far. We launched in September of 2024. Since then, we've seen about a 20% decrease in violations through responsible enforcement in continued education, as well as 9 out of every 10 drivers who've received a ticket have not received a second. And so through really responsible, continued, community-driven focus on the program, we've seen a real change in driver behavior, and we're hoping that we can emulate that through our work with New Haven to help keep our children safer every day. Very quickly, just want to run through sort of what the services that we provide and how the program works. Number one, we're installing, as the mayor said, on every single bus that serves students in the city. It's about 330 buses. We want to make sure there's equity across the program, making sure every single student who goes to and from school every day has the opportunity to be protected with the technology on the school buses. Secondly, upon the installation of all that, not only do we maintain, but we ultimately will help process through evidence of violations that occur. So if a camera captures a violation on the bus, we have a back-end system. The violation ultimately first lives on a DVR on the bus and is transmitted via an LTE network to a back-end system that we have, to where we actually review that evidence from a quality assurance perspective. We pair it with register owner of the vehicle information that's pulled from the state DMV database, and that is then sent as an evidence package of video, still imagery, and information on the violation to the City of New Haven. The City of New Haven and public safety officials will be the only ones making the determination on if a ticket should be issued or not. So hopefully it's a community-driven effort in regards to who actually receives a ticket in the mail. But that is always going to be the decision of the City of New Haven every step of the way. If that were to occur and a ticket is to be issued, Bus Patrol then, on behalf of the city, will print and mail that citation to the registered owner. If the registered owner receives a ticket in the mail, they have a multitude of options. First and foremost, we want to make sure that there's a very transparent process for the registered owner to actually view the video that was utilized by the City of New Haven to issue the ticket. So you actually can go on a website, you can plug in your license plate and your citation number that you'll receive in the mail, and you'll be able to look at the same exact video that was utilized to issue the ticket in the first place and make the determination on if you feel as if you're liable or not. If you feel as if you're liable and made a mistake, we make it very simple for payment to be collected that will go to the city. Or, just like any other type of traffic violation, everyone would be provided due process and the ability to contest, and that would go to a traffic tribunal here in New Haven for a hearing to be heard, to where that ultimately can be found liable or not liable through an independent arbiter, administrative law judge. So hopefully we have a very robust process. As I mentioned, it's worked very effectively in terms of changing behavior already in places like Bridgeport, and we're very hopeful that that will be the case here in New Haven as well. And again, we're very honored to be a part of this program. Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, Ryan. And last, we're going to hear from Representative Pillow.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it. A lot has been said, and want to certainly thank the mayor and recognize the mayor and his leadership and the superintendent for student. Certainly, Sandeep and your team, thank you for your service, having worked with you over the last 5 years in the city. Appreciate the coordinated effort. So a lot has been said, but as a member of the community and as a state representative, we often talk about in a city about enforcement, education, and engineering. And I think the city has done a really great job around those three areas to promote the type of city that we all want to live in every day, protecting each other and protecting our most vulnerable, which is our children. As I drive 3 children to school on a daily basis, and as I was driving down a couple streets this morning, you're often nervous as you're seeing children outside as they're moving across the street onto a bus, because you don't necessarily always know what a driver is going to do. And many of those drivers are in fact bringing their children to school. So this is something as a city that we want to build every day to protect children, but to protect everyone out on the road. And as a member of the General Assembly for the last decade, these are the types of initiatives that will continue to support the investments in our city, whether it's traffic calming on Route 80 or traffic calming on Quinnipiac Avenue, because when you combine this technology with all of the other investments under this mayor and superintendent and Sandeep continue to make in the city, we continue to make our residents safer and have the types of communities, city and state, that we all aspire to have. So certainly congratulations across the board, and thank you to, again, the mayor, Sandeep, and to the superintendent for the work that you do. And if there's any reason, as you walk through the hallways here today and looked in the classrooms, there are 18,000 plus reasons why we engage in this work and why we bring people together. And as I see one of the greatest principals in the city, as I watch him walk across, want to recognize Mr. Davis. These are hard jobs to do. And during COVID, if the press has a chance to kind of look out, First Student knows this, the folks in the city know this, but you'll have all the buses come in the back of the building. And you not only have that work that's happening on the streets every morning and every afternoon, but it's also picking up and dropping off that are huge challenges as well in our school communities. So this is a deterrent, it's a reminder, and it's a reminder of all folks traveling in our city. Be mindful, be respectful, and watch out for our children. They are our treasured resources, and we're here to protect them. Thank you.
Thanks, Representative Bailil. So thank you to Ross Weber for hosting us today. We're going to do a quick demonstration outside. As Ryan said, the bus patrol facilitates the process for the ticket, but ultimately the city will assess each ticket to make sure that it is valid. That doesn't mean that if you get a ticket because you ran through a bus stop sign, you should call the mayor and ask me to waive the ticket. We're not going to do that. This is about making sure that people abide by the law, and there's a very clear adjudication process within TTMP, Transportation, Traffic, and Parking. And these are our babies, you as a parent, you love your kid more than anything in the world, and all it takes is one person making a really bad decision. So this is the right thing for us to do as a community, obey the law. Any questions?
I know that the first fine is $250. Are there any incremental fines for each subsequent violation?
It's $250 each, right?
$250 every time.
$250 each. I think that most people recognize that $250 is pretty steep already, but I'd note that the tickets, if a police officer catches you, is over $400. So this is actually lower than if a police officer were to pull you over because you violated the stop sign rule.
Why wait 30 days to do a warning period instead of just going straight out and just issuing the $250 fine straight out?
We want to give people a fair chance to understand that the law is changing, because again, the goal here is not to collect money. The goal here is to make sure people obey the law. And the hope is that when people get those warnings, they're going to say, well, geez, I don't want a $250 ticket. I note that we're getting some initial data already, and it's concerning. We have 40% of our buses approximately have the cameras out, so we're getting some initial data, and it's concerning. We're seeing a lot of people violating the law, and so we're really hoping that this behavior changes.
What was the overall cost of the project?
Can you, one of you guys?
Happy to. So yeah, this is a violator-funded program, meaning that ultimately the costs that to install the buses as well as basically facilitate all operations of the program will be covered by violations that come in through the program. To make this possible, Bus Patrol makes the initial investment on the school buses. It's about $10,000 a bus that we make as it relates to the cameras being installed, the equipment needs to be installed, and then ultimately also the operational aspects, we would front that cost and basically recover that through violations that are covered. It's a subscription-based model, so the city is paying a cost back to us to recover our costs that we made, the investment that we made, every month per bus, plus a certain portion of every ticket that is collected. So ultimately, we want to make sure everything's violator funded. This is not going to impact the taxpayer unless a violation, of course, is captured by someone who commits a violation. But hopefully, not only do we see the program be able to be covered through violations, but ultimately additional revenue brought into the city to help support other public safety initiatives.
I think so. The main point is there's no upfront cost, and there's a subscription fee that we pay that will likely be completely covered by the revenues that come in from the tickets. And there's an administrative fee per ticket, so it's not like a commission thing. So there's not an incentive to give out more tickets. It's just a small administrative fee that covers those tickets. We've put in our budget an estimate of $400,000 of revenue coming in the first year, but we're anticipating that number going down significantly as other communities have seen, so that we get to the goal of compliance, but not necessarily funding. And the state legislation has some limitations on what we can use the funds for. It's for traffic safety improvements, and so that's something to take into account as well.
May I add one more?
Yeah.
So I think we're talking about dollars and cents. I think that's important. But really, just want to emphasize this is about safety, right? I mean, this same question came up during automated traffic enforcement. So yes, you'll see a potential drop in revenue, but the whole goal is really kind of to really think about the paradigm of safety here. So, that's what I want to really kind of emphasize here, like that the money, there's revenue, what you can do with the revenue will probably potentially be cost neutral. There may be some extra revenue that maybe probably has to be used for traffic safety initiative as per statute, but the fundamental goal is not about money here. It's about trying to improve safety overall.
Does the city or state have any mechanisms for scofflaws, people who keep running stoplights or stop signs to like revoke or suspend a license?
So this is a civil violation, and the reason that's the case is because ultimately when a violation is captured, the camera obviously captures the violation. You're looking at the license plate of the vehicle. So ultimately, as it relates to your driver's license, there's not going to be any penalty on the driver's license. There are mechanisms in place to facilitate, if you would like to in the future, a civil judgment. But hopefully we see complete compliance as it relates to folks exercising either the right to contest if they don't believe they're found liable, or of course making it easy for folks to pay the violation if they do feel as if they're liable.